Long ago, in a small village nestled deep in the heart of the African savanna, there lived a beautiful maiden named Kalinda. She was the only child of Chief Abuto, the leader of the village. Kalinda's beauty was unparalleled. Her radiant skin shimmered like the morning sun, and her laughter was said to bring joy to even the saddest hearts. Her fame spread far and wide, and many young men dreamed of winning her heart. But Kalinda was not just beautiful. She was gifted with wit, talent, and intelligence. However, her father's affection and the admiration of the villagers had made her proud. She believed no one in the world was worthy of her, and she dismissed every suitor who came seeking her hand. Her arrogance grew so great that she refused even to speak to men she deemed unworthy, no matter their status or character. As time passed, Chief Abuto began to worry. Kalinda's arrogance had driven away many noble suitors, and whispers of her haughty nature began to spread. The villagers started murmuring, and the chief, fearing disgrace, devised a plan with his old friend, a neighboring king named Ajani. One day, Chief Abuto made a surprising announcement. He declared that on Kalinda's upcoming birthday, she would be married to the first man who entered the village gates at sunrise. No matter who he was, the news sent waves of shock and excitement through the land. Many brave men prepared to be the first to claim the hand of the chief's daughter. When the fateful day arrived, the villagers gathered at the gates, eager to witness who would win Kalinda's hand. As the first rays of the sun kissed the land, a lone figure approached the village. To everyone's astonishment, it was not a noble prince or a wealthy merchant, but a ragged beggar clothed in tattered garments. He carried nothing but a wooden staff and a small satchel. The guards seized him and led him to Chief Abuto. True to his word, the chief summoned the village elder to perform the marriage ceremony. Kalinda was furious. She cried, protested, and pleaded with her father, but Chief Abuto remained firm. "Daughter," he said, "pride has blinded you for too long. This is your fate, and you must accept it." The ceremony was simple and somber. Kalinda, her eyes red from crying, was handed over to the beggar, who introduced himself as Kofi. After the ceremony, Chief Abuto gave Kofi 5 gold coins and ordered the couple to leave the village at once. "Do not return until you have learned the true value of humility," he said. Kalinda followed Kofi reluctantly as they journeyed far away from her father's village. They eventually arrived at a dense forest where Kofi built a small hut by the riverbank. "This is our home now," he told Kalinda. "We will live simply, gathering food from the forest and selling firewood to survive." For Kalinda, this life was unbearable. She had never lifted a finger for work, and now she was expected to fetch water, collect firewood, and cook meals. At first she resisted, but Kofi's gentle demeanor and patient words softened her heart. Despite their hardships, Kofi treated her with kindness and love, and over time Kalinda began to adapt to her new life. One day, Kofi took her to a nearby village market to sell clay pots he had crafted. Kalinda, who had once been a princess, now stood in the market with pots balanced on her head. She tried to sell them but struggled to interact with the villagers, as her pride still lingered. Suddenly, a rich merchant's horse reared up, knocking over her pots and shattering them into pieces. Kalinda was devastated. She returned to the hut in tears, fearing Kofi's anger. But Kofi did not scold her. Instead, he said, "Kalinda, life is not about what we lose, but how we rise again. Tomorrow we will try something new." The next day, Kofi suggested they seek work in a nearby kingdom. "King Ajani is a kind ruler," he said. "Perhaps we can find a way to earn a living in his palace." Kalinda reluctantly agreed, and they set off for the kingdom. Upon reaching the palace, Kofi found Kalinda a job in the royal kitchens. Though it was humble work, Kalinda accepted it, knowing she had no other choice. As the months passed, Kalinda's arrogance melted away. She worked diligently, earning the respect of her fellow workers and even the head cook. Her once proud demeanor was replaced by humility and gratitude. One day during the kingdom's annual harvest festival, all the palace workers were invited to the grand hall to receive gifts from the king. Kalinda, dressed in her simple attire, stood among them. When it was her turn, King Ajani looked at her intently and said, "Kalinda, do you remember me?" Confused, Kalinda shook her head. The king smiled and continued, "I am Kofi, the beggar who became your husband. I disguised myself to teach you a lesson in humility." Kalinda gasped, her eyes filling with tears. She fell to her knees and said, "My lord, forgive me for my pride and arrogance. I have learned my lesson, and I am grateful for your love and patience." King Ajani lifted her to her feet and said, "You have proven your worth, Kalinda. You are no longer the proud maiden I once knew, but a woman of strength and character. Today I welcome you back as my queen." The entire hall erupted in applause as Kalinda and King Ajani embraced. From that day forward, Kalinda ruled alongside her husband with wisdom and humility, earning the love and respect of her people. And so the story of Kalinda and Kofi became a cherished tale, passed down through generations as a reminder that true greatness lies not in pride, but in humility and love.